Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Curse of Oak Island finds Viking evidence after recent excursion. The Curse of Oak Island team is starting to add more evidence that Vikings visited the island in the past. This has been the show's focus recently as the team went to visit the only confirmed location of Norse people in North America. They then began to find more things on the island that connect the two locations. Here is what the team has found that convinced them of Vikings visiting Oak Island. Curse of Oak Island team visits Lance Ox Meadows. This all started long ago when Rick and Marty Lagina believed the Vikings helped the Knights Templar hide treasure on the island. They have found several things over the years that lead to this theory. However, the team recently visited Lance Ox Meadows in Newfoundland, Canada. This is the UNESCO World Heritage Site. It is the only verified location in North America where the Norse people settled, dating back to the year 1000. This site is also 600 miles away from Oak Island. The team also went to Europe in 2023 to learn more about the Viking connection. Rick Lagina has recently emphasized that learning the island's history is almost more important than finding treasure. However, after the trip, the team made some more discoveries that might prove the Vikings' theory. What Viking evidence was found on Curse of Oak Island? One of the big things the team pointed out on the Curse of Oak Island is the butternut trees. These trees are native to the regions stretching from New Brunswick to New England. However, they do not grow in Newfoundland. The team found butternut remains at Lance Ox Meadows. This hints that the Vikings went further south to where the butternut naturally grew, including Oak Island. This is the only proven site in North America. Do you believe there are others? Marty asked a historian about Lance Ox Meadows via Instagram. The Sabdas talk about another place called Hop, a historian replied. This is supposed to be a summer work site south of Newfoundland. Some think it is Nova Scotia. Oak Island sits off the coast of Nova Scotia, and Marty wonders if the island was the Hop. The discovery of a butternut burrow near Oak Island adds to this speculation. The other interesting thing is we know they're going further south because we have butternuts here in the collection, one team member explained. There is still no actual evidence of Vikings on Oak Island, but the theories are growing stronger with each recent discovery. The sun rose over Oak Island, casting a golden light over the murky waters of the Money Pit and surrounding areas. For Rick and Marty Lagina, the day was filled with the usual mix of anticipation and cautious optimism. Over the years, they had unearthed countless mysteries on this enigmatic island off the coast of Nova Scotia. However, today promised something truly groundbreaking, a potential discovery that could rewrite history. The morning began with an excited phone call from Dr. Ian Spooner, the team's geoscientist. While analyzing sediment samples from a new borehole near the swamp, he had identified unusual elements, traces of iron and lead consistent with medieval-era metallurgy. Even more astonishingly, a fragment of wood carbon-dated to around the late 10th century had been extracted from the site, combined with their recent ground-penetrating radar scans, which hinted at a buried ship-like structure. The evidence pointed toward an astonishing possibility: Viking involvement on Oak Island. The team gathered at the war room to discuss their plan. Around the table, experts like Gary Drayton, the team's metal-detecting wizard, and Laird Niven, their seasoned archaeologist, pored over maps, data, and historical texts. Marty, ever the skeptic, was quick to temper expectations. "We've been down this road before," he cautioned. "Let's not get ahead of ourselves. This could just as easily be a coincidence." Rick, however, couldn't hide his excitement. But what if it isn't? If Vikings were here, that changes everything. It connects Oak Island to a global history of exploration, long before Columbus or Cabot. With the team in agreement to proceed, they headed toward the swamp, a location notorious for yielding enigmatic finds, from the supposed ship's railing to mysterious man-made stone formations. As they trudged through the marshy ground, the air buzzed with the hum of heavy machinery. Craig Tester and the drilling crew had already begun excavation at the precise coordinates identified by their scans. The first few hours yielded little more than layers of silt and peat, but just as doubts began to creep in, Gary Drayton's metal detector emitted a sharp, high-pitched tone. With the precision of an expert, he pinpointed the object, and the team gathered around as he carefully unearthed it. "What have we got here?" Gary said, his voice filled with suspense. He held up a corroded but unmistakably ornate piece of metal. After a quick rinse, its intricate design became clear. A brooch, circular in shape, with delicate knotwork reminiscent of Viking artistry. The war room quickly became a hive of activity. Laird Niven examined the artifact, noting its craftsmanship and similarities to Viking relics found in Newfoundland's Alliance Aux Meadows, a confirmed Viking settlement. Experts from around the globe were called in to analyze the find remotely, and early indications suggested the brooch was authentic and likely over 1,000 years old. But the brooch was just the beginning. Encouraged by the discovery, the team intensified their efforts, focusing on the swamp. Within days, they unearthed more tantalizing artifacts: a fragment of a Norse axe head, shards of pottery with distinct Scandinavian patterns, and most intriguingly, a carved runestone. The runestone, covered in faint but legible inscriptions, was unlike anything the team had encountered before. Its translation, aided by Norse historians, revealed a cryptic message: "To the west lies the land of riches." Speculation ran wild. Was this a marker left by Viking explorers who had ventured far beyond their known settlements? Could Oak Island have been a waypoint or even a repository for treasures? As news of the find spread, Oak Island became a focal point for archaeologists and historians worldwide. Skeptics questioned the authenticity of the artifacts, citing the potential for hoaxes or contamination from later settlers. The Laginas, however, stood by their rigorous methods and the credibility of their team. "This isn't just about treasure anymore," Rick explained during a press conference. "This is about rewriting history. If the Vikings were here, it means they were exploring and interacting with the Americas in ways we've never imagined." Back on the island, the discoveries kept coming. Beneath layers of sediment, the excavation team uncovered what appeared to be the keel of a ship. The timbers, preserved by the swamp's anaerobic conditions, were tested and found to date back to the Viking Age. While the vessel's exact purpose remained unclear, its location, miles from the coast and buried deep in the swamp, suggested it had been deliberately concealed. Theories abounded. Some believed the ship had been part of a Viking expedition that met with disaster, leading the crew to scuttle the vessel and bury their valuables. Others speculated it had been intentionally hidden as part of a larger, more enigmatic purpose. Was Oak Island a Viking outpost, a sanctuary, or perhaps even a burial site for a leader of great importance? One evening, Rick, Marty, and their closest team members gathered around a campfire to reflect on their findings. The weight of their discovery was palpable. For Rick, it was a validation of decades of dedication and an affirmation of his belief in the island's significance. For Marty, it was a reminder of the importance of keeping an open mind. As they gazed into the flames, they couldn't help but wonder what lay ahead. Each new discovery brought them closer to understanding the island's mysteries, while raising even more questions. Who were these Vikings? What had drawn them to Oak Island? And what, if anything, had they left behind? In the weeks that followed, the Viking evidence became a cornerstone of their search. Theories connecting Oak Island to a global network of exploration gained traction, with some suggesting the Vikings might have shared the island with later visitors, including the Templars or early European explorers. The team pored over maps, ancient texts, and local legends, hoping to find connections that might illuminate the island's past. Despite the excitement, the team remained grounded. "We may never find all the answers," Marty admitted during a team meeting, "but every piece of the puzzle brings us closer." For the millions of viewers tuning in each week, the Viking discoveries were a thrilling new chapter in Oak Island's saga. The Laginas had always said their quest wasn't just about finding treasure. It was about solving a mystery that had endured for centuries. And with every brooch, axe head, and runestone they unearthed, they proved that history still had secrets waiting to be uncovered. As the season drew to a close, the team stood together on the shores of the swamp, watching the sun set over Oak Island. Their journey was far from over, but for now, they could savor the knowledge that they had made history. The Vikings had left their mark on Oak Island, and now so had they.